Okay, great stuff. Thanks everybody for joining the Microsoft Licensing, Ultima's Microsoft Licensing webinar this morning. I will start slow. This session is being recorded as a few more people are joining, but I hope you can see my slides and I hope you can hear my voice, which I'm sure you can. And there's my little pointer as well. But thank you very much for joining today. So yeah, absolutely. This is our monthly webinar from myself. My name is Ian Jard. I'm the head of the Microsoft licensing team here at Ultima, and I've been here for coming up over 12 years now, and basically trying to make sense of some of the Microsoft rules when it comes to licensing, the commercials. How do I buy that? What are my options? How much does it cost? The general feeling is that this is a high-level approach because all the recent updates from Microsoft, all the recent news or changes or upcoming changes and how they may impact you or your organization, pretty much based upon, of course, Microsoft updates, but also my conversations over the last 4 to 5 weeks with various kind of customers during reviews or just what seems to be hot topic subjects at the moment. Like I say, the idea is to cover a variety of subjects at a relatively high level. And then when you start considering your own unique scenario, you're going to want to kind of know more information, make it a little bit more relevant for you and your organization, your own drivers and needs. So please do contact Ultima. Please feel free to contact myself directly or the software team or your account team or your own licensing specialist. So what we're covering today is we'll be focusing on Microsoft's new Copilot for security, kind of what it is, how to license it, what some of those next steps might look like for you or your organization, the kind of questions you need to potentially be asking yourself, the gap it may potentially fill for you. And then I want to cover the new Intune suite because there are consistent changes with that. So I think it's worth a good refresh of really what that is and what's included. There's big changes coming to some of the larger Microsoft suites in regards to Teams being removed, something everyone's asking about, and I have written blogs. We've also been speaking about this a lot, so I will also cover that off. Then I'll cover off the Dynamics price increases that Microsoft recently announced and are due later on in 2024. I have put on there, I always put on there kind of other news and updates. And I was thinking about covering Power BI Premium, capacity, switch to Fabric, how that works. It's big subjects. I'm not actually going to cover that, but I'm mentioning it because if it is something you want me to cover, although not many people have asked about it, it is kind of changes coming, but please do let me know. And that's in general. If there's other subjects that are coming up that you want to hear about in future, please contact me, the marketing team, or your account team, just to let us know what it is that you would like to hear about. But today we are starting, and I've got my pointer, we are starting with Copilot for security. Like I say, this session is being recorded, and you will get a copy of the slides and the recording afterwards. So Microsoft Copilot, and there are, as I'm sure you are aware, lots of different Copilot products. Actually, things are being rebranded. When someone says, oh, are you going to get Copilot? Sometimes you slip into talking about different products. And yes, today this webinar is around Microsoft Copilot for security. But let's just take a breath and have a look about what Copilot products are actually available from Microsoft as we stand today, and what's really a difference between them. So 4 different products, and then let's start with Microsoft Copilot, this one here in the top left. So this is Microsoft Copilot, is the one that was formerly known as Bing Chat Enterprise. So this is where, for small organizations or effectively individuals, so you can kind of build that identity across Bing, Edge, Windows. It's accessible via that icon in all of that. So you would effectively need to have your Enter ID set up, but effectively this license is kind of included already within the E3, the F3 suites. The next one to kind of cover would probably be kind of similar. It's Copilot Pro. So Copilot Pro is that end user, that subscription service for individuals. So it costs about £20 per user per month. So it's kind of intended maybe for super users, personal users, part of that personal and family program. Kind of gives you image creator and designer and all that kind of good stuff. It kind of brings data from applications that you might be working with, gives it relevancy. And like I say, that's kind of cost you about £20 per user per month. Now, this is the one that Microsoft Copilot for Microsoft 365 is effectively the one that Microsoft have released. It's £25 per user per month. It's the one where you're buying it on top of having to have that Microsoft 365 license. It is that license where you're effectively purchasing it to work within Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, Teams. It's the one where there was the 300 seat minimum that was removed in February, and it's kind of been expanded across, CSP agreements, enterprise agreements, and that's for all kind of commercial organizations. So that's not what we're here to talk about today. What we're here to talk about today is the fourth one, the newer one, Microsoft Copilot for security. So someone's just made a note that you're not getting the sound, which is wonderful. I hope you're enjoying the pictures. Okay, good. Okay, cool. Well, I did get a note that people weren't getting sound, so apologies for that. But everyone else is kind of saying they have sound okay, which is great. I just wanted to give that kind of updated, an overview around what is kind of Copilot for security, kind of being that AI cybersecurity product, enables those security professionals to respond to threats quickly, effectively is what it is, assesses risk exposure in minutes. So one of the questions you kind of have, there's lots of products out there at the moment. You could say, how is Microsoft Copilot for security different from other AI security products? So, well, it kind of combines all of the advanced GPT-4 models from OpenAI with everything else that Microsoft brings to the table. So, that's all of the hyperscale infrastructure, all of the cyber-specific orchestration. It's really currently the only AI solution built using Microsoft's relationship with OpenAI. So it's kind of being able to utilize those advanced large language models and Microsoft's hyperscale AI infrastructure. So Microsoft say they're in a unique position. They're going to be able to transform the security for their products, not only because of this investment within OpenAI, but because it kind of combines with the rest of their security portfolio. They think, so Microsoft for security will enable scale advanced tasks to all skill levels, perform malicious code analysis in real time, apply threat intelligence to your investigation workflows kind of with ease. So, when we're kind of thinking about who are the intended users, based on that, who are the intended users for Copilot for security, there is the, compliance analysts, IT admins, these are the intended users for Copilot for security. Similar kind of, okay, well, what would be the use cases? So those SOC analysts would be looking probably for those scenarios, specifically around incident summarization, impact analysis, and those kind of good guided responses that they may need to undertake. Does Microsoft Copilot for security work with other Microsoft products? And you might be shocked to learn that yes, absolutely. Microsoft Copilot for Security absolutely works with all of their other products, kind of not limited to, but in tune, Defender TI, Purview, obviously Sentinel. So it can access data from these products. It kind of provides assistive support and experience across. So you kind of get a more effective and efficient security posture. It helps security professionals discover risks early by utilizing all of these existing tools, kind of remaining on top of all those vulnerabilities in this very kind of evolving landscape. So it's absolutely not intended and is not and will not replace Defender or Sentinel. In fact, it actually enhances them. It actually makes these become even more powerful, especially when security professionals are using Copilot for Security on top. The idea being that with the embedded experiences of Defender, that you can respond to those threats at the speed of AI. So you're becoming much more highly efficient. So yeah, does it include things such as threat intelligence? Yes, it does. Copilot for Security actually covers all content and data within the Microsoft Defender threat intelligence. So you can return crucial contextual data around activity groups, tooling, vulnerabilities. Like I say, there's some details on the slide. You will get copies of these, but it's actually a pretty comprehensive product. It was generally, how do you license? How do you buy it? Well, how do you approach this? It was generally available from the 1st of April. So it is now available to you as an organization. It is done via your Azure consumption. So it's not like a particular license of software assurance for a subscription license you buy. It's kind of done via your Azure subscription. So if you have your Azure subscription via a CSP agreement, via an MCA agreement, via maybe even you've still got it on a legacy Web Direct, or you have an EA that actually expired years ago, but actually maybe you're still using that to consume your Azure payments, it is available across all of these channels. So the only kind of prerequisite, well, there's a couple of prerequisites. There is, you need to have that Azure subscription, or you need to spin up a new Azure subscription. Very, very easy to set up a new CSP Azure, very straightforward. The other one would be, Microsoft Entra ID would be the other prerequisite. You need to make sure that your admins are, all those security professionals who would want to take advantage of Copilot for Security do also have Microsoft Entra ID, which was, of course, previously Azure Active Directory Premium. It is available as a standalone experience, or it is also available when you're doing it through Azure subscriptions, kind of via the embedded Microsoft security products that you're already kind of using. So, and the pricing kind of works out the same as well. So the workloads provide insights and kind of evaluate prompts, run the prompt books, automate them all. And that's kind of the same both within that standalone product and within those embedded experiences kind of across that Microsoft security. So you can kind of flexibly provision compute units to meet your organizational needs, kind of manage those costs within that in-product dashboard as well. And that's the way Microsoft have kind of approached it. There, you're going to be provisioning something called SCUs, these secure compute units. And each of these secure compute units effectively costs £3.21 per hour, or £2,400, let's say, for the month. If you effectively keep them on to keep one SCU provisioned for 24 hours daily for an entire month, they're kind of billed per hour, and that would work out to be about, £2,350 per month. Microsoft generally are recommending provisioning around 3 SCUs per hour to start your Copilot for Security exploration. So based on that cost per hour, based on kind of provisioning those SKUs, and based on Microsoft's recommendations, you kind of be looking at about £7,500 per month via your Azure consumption to get up and running with Microsoft Security. So, it would be something where you'd only apply for those users, as we kind of return to some of those earlier points, only applying to those admins and those security professionals but you don't have to prepay for it. You do it through Azure consumption, so you can actually turn it on and turn it off whenever they're not using it. Those costings are kind of based on kind of provisioning it for 24 hours daily for an entire month. So you might want to bear that in mind. One thing I will say is obviously it is being released now for the first month. We are starting to talk about it more and more, work on those particular use cases, kind of work out the benefits of, okay, well, what are those scenarios where Copilot for Security is achieving advanced business benefits? So please speak to us. As you can tell, I'm maybe not the most technically knowledgeable person around Copilot for Security, but please speak to us in the account team if you want to kind of look at this in more technical detail about where it would benefit your organization. But that's kind of how you license it and buy it, and the prerequisites. And some of those conversations, some of those things to consider as you consider the next steps and how much it will cost to get up and running with this fourth Copilot product from Microsoft. The other big thing we've been speaking about, I've been speaking about a lot, which on various blogs, and there's a big change, is the removal, it's the Microsoft Teams update, and the removal of Microsoft Teams from the Office 365 and Microsoft 365 E3 and E5 suites, also inclusive of the Microsoft F plans as well. This is actually a fall on from the removal of this within the EEU, the European Economic Unit, effectively the anti-competitive laws, and Switzerland back in October last year, due to Microsoft's and the European Courts Commission's anti-competitive laws. They said, hey, Microsoft, you cannot bundle that Teams license within E3, and this is now coming to the UK, to EMEA, to globally. So effectively from the 1st of April 2024, Microsoft Teams has been removed from the E3 and E5 suites, whether that's Office, whether that's Microsoft, whether that's the F plans that you have as well. So that's obviously made in news. The thing to consider is that this will only impact new customers only. If you or your organization, let's be honest, 95% of organizations out there have already bought Microsoft 365 E3 or E5, but actually this does not impact you. You can continue to actually use that license with Teams included. You can add seats, you can add more users, and they will still have Teams. You might have your renewal due next month. You can renew that next month, and it will still have Teams included. You will not be impacted. There is only the impact for the new customers only. The first time that tenant has bought that license, if it's the first time, then it's no longer being bought with Teams. You have to buy it's Microsoft 365, and as you said, licenses M365, Microsoft 365 E3 without Teams, and then what you do is you add Teams as an additional license, like the Teams Enterprise license. So Microsoft haven't announced it as a price increase, but if you and the SKU without Teams, it has been reduced in price. But if you take it out and then add Teams back in, surprise, surprise, there is actually a 5% increase in cost. Now, we also know that Microsoft frequently change what they say. So I can absolutely say that you continue to use, renew, upgrade, add seats for those existing users. I think Microsoft have history before of changing their minds, and maybe in 6 months, maybe in 12 months, they announce that actually from renewal, this is going to be a change. They've not announced that yet. We have no other insight, and they've told us within the partner community, this is only going to impact new customers only. I think we've been doing this for long enough to recognize what Microsoft do in regards to the release cycles. But of course, we can only report on what the news is today, and this is only going to be impacting completely new customers only. The new Intune suite, so Microsoft Intune, obviously with Microsoft Intune being the advanced endpoint management, the Intune suite was introduced last year. But they've actually just released a whole load of new, just on February the 1st, a lot of new functionality was released to the Intune suite element. So most organizations would buy Intune Plan 1, right? We get those core capabilities, SCCM included, built-in endpoint security, all those features, part of that E3 license. Microsoft have effectively added the Intune suite, which is an add-on license, it's an add-on to those core Intune capabilities. Some of the actual new features which were released on the 1st of February, well, there's 3 of them actually. It was the advanced analytics, number 1, kind of the AI-powered capability for examining users' device issues. Then you've got application management, was the other kind of main release, kind of find, deploy, update enterprise apps, and then PKI, the effectively a public key infrastructure, so you can kind of set up PKI in minutes and kind of manage that whole certification lifecycle. But the whole kind of Intune suite is an add-on to the core capabilities within Intune Plan 1, and does, one of the big questions we kind of get whenever we're talking about Intune, the fact that it includes Configuration Manager, despite what Microsoft say, will this actually replace SCCM? And I must say that still, Intune doesn't actually cover everything. Many enterprises have been using SCCM for years and years. They've built business processes or have third-party integrations all around SCCM. Intune may not have feature parity for all of them. Intune does not manage servers. There's no plans for Intune to manage servers. SCCM frequently leverages, you use SCCM to meet those compliance regulations and those requirements, and Intune might not be ready to fully kind of fulfill those needs from a kind of regulatory compliance point of view. So it's a question that we do kind of speak about a lot. So Intune Plan 1 includes Microsoft Configuration Manager, the license, but actually you'll probably still be using that functionality. Intune doesn't quite cover everything, and that's included in the Intune suite, and all of the advances are all based upon, building upon that core Intune technology. When we're kind of thinking about the licensing, so Intune Plan 1, those core capabilities, it's included in all of those suites, E3, E5, government suites, Intune for education, it's included within the business premium, it's included within F1. Again, when we're looking at Intune Plan 2, you can buy it as an add-on to Plan 1, and then similarly with the Intune suite, that again is an add-on to Plan 1. Again, it's something that it will allow you to manage specific devices and all of those points. But it would be always an add-on license. So if you've got Microsoft 365 E5, even Intune Suite is still an add-on. You would still need to buy that in addition. Microsoft have announced some price increases due from the 1st of October 2024 in regards to Dynamics. So what have they announced? They've announced that there will be price increases across a range of their products, kind of on-premise and within the cloud, affecting 10% up to about 17%. So particularly around CRM and ERP licensing. Some licensing remains unchanged for some of the Business Central stuff, some of those smaller users, but certainly the enterprise level. So, please be aware that there's some pretty big changes coming. Microsoft have said, look, they're being driven continuous innovation. Actually, they state that the new prices reflect a little bit more of the value of the product in the marketplace at the moment, and really aligning with some of the industry standards. So we would encourage you as an organization, Dynamics implementations are complex. The licensing will cover a variety of different profiles. Users will have different licenses that will be having different pricing changes. As always, in general, if you're aware of these changes for the 1st of October, really what you should be doing is looking to lock the pricing, right? Whether you've got an EA 3 years, CSP 1 year, try and lock those pricing. Or if you are unable to do that or want to have a longer roadmap, at least build in what the impact of those increases are for you. So we're working with expert Dynamic partners ourselves, or maybe you've got a Dynamics team within, internally. We work with them to help kind of diagnose the licenses required and the commercial impact from the 1st of October. We're ultimately, I don't profess to be a absolute specialist when it comes to dynamics. We frequently work with the partners, the specific dynamics partners you use with. We've got partners and we can help that and can help in regards to that. But I just want to kind of make that note. We traditionally work with other dynamics partners or your internal teams around that to help diagnose and plan what to do in regards to the changes coming on the 1st of October. So yeah, that's and again, it always feels like I have absolutely rushed through those updates. I'm kind of conscious of the fact that I'm only looking to provide high level updates for you to kind of engage and ask to learn more. Apologies if I mangled some of the features of regarding Copilot for security, but I hope you did get that good overview. Let me just see whether we have any questions. Yes, Chris. So any indication of price for the Intune suite? Yep, an excellent point. So it's not something that I had and probably should have done. But fortunately, I can talk in circles for a few seconds as I get that price. So it is an add-on price. So what you'll generally see with this Intune suite, there's like a price for the enterprise users, and then there'll be a price if you're actually applying it to one of the frontline workers. I mentioned how it does cover the frontline workers. If it's an enterprise user, then it's £6.99, generally speaking. Level A EA we're talking about. If you've got a CSP, it'll be there or thereabouts, £6.99, £7 per user per month. But if you're using it to cover the devices of a frontline worker, maybe their mobile devices, maybe shared devices in a shop, in a warehouse, out on the road, then that's £4.72 per user per month. If there are any other questions. There are not. He says, yep, no questions. Okay, that's great. You'll get a copy of the slides. Thank you very much for joining today. There's my contact details again. Like I say, apologies if it was a bit of a quick rush through, and please contact us more for a deeper dive into any of these subjects, whether that's Copilot for security, the new Intune suite, features and functionality, the changes to Teams, or those dynamics price increases. Similarly, if there's any other subjects you want me to talk about or have any questions, please don't hesitate. I'm very interested to know whether you want to know more about Fabric and Power BI Premium per capacity, or whether it's so niche you don't. But I hope that was useful. I'm going to stop talking. Thank you very much for your time and have a good rest of the day.